As we prepare to take steps to adapt and reopen together or start, we'll all work as a community to minimize risk, but we will not remove risk entirely. The START guide we've been working on is now available for public review at readyslo.org. The START guide is a living document that outlines proposed steps to open our community in a phased manner. Even with minimal risks, under any circumstance, we may see increased cases, but what we need to do is take a look at their significance. The START guide addresses what we'll do to protect public health, and we'll make sure that our healthcare system is there for those in need. Not everything will reopen at the same time, and reopening date will depend on a number of factors, including the governor transferring authority back to the county. But I can tell you with confidence, we are prepared and ready to open SLO County safely once the governor lifts his order. We have bent the curve, we have built capacity, we have increased the tools necessary to test and trace for the disease, and we have the personal protective equipment necessary to manage the spread. What we have is a live draft guide that shows how we, government, businesses, churches, schools, individuals, and public health care leaders will reopen together. Now a quick review of what's in the START guide and what's not in the START guide. What's in it? You will find a matrix and description of phases. Right now, we are pre-phase 1 under the current shelter-at-home order. As long as SLO County is under the governor's order, our county order will remain in place to allow some level of local control. As soon as the governor lifts his order, we will revise our order to implement the START guide. Phase 1, when we begin phasing into reopening. While SLO County is ready for this today, we have to wait until the governor lifts his order and transitions authority back to the county so we can begin phase 1. Phase 2 is adapting and takes place a minimum of 30 days following the beginning of phase 1. Depending on how we are doing in phase 1, further loosening will occur in phase 2. We will be adapting to real-time conditions. Phase 3 is new normal. Again, based on observing conditions in real time, and takes place a minimum of 30 days after we start phase 2. To move between phases, it is required that we meet and improve on epidemiological, healthcare, and public health criteria. You will see how we intend to open systematically with different requirements under each phase. However, they each have a few things in common. Throughout all phases, people will be required to continue to practice good personal hygiene, stay home when sick, and protect vulnerable populations. Workplaces will be required to implement appropriate policies in accordance with best practices, such as operating standards for physical distancing and sanitation, and not allowing symptomatic people to return to work. You will find a list of specific health criteria for moving forward and potentially backward as the situation evolves, and standards for various industries. This is what you will not find in the guide. You won't find answers to every question you may have. While this guide is fairly comprehensive, it is still a draft, and there will be unanswered questions. We are continuing to work to prepare our community for reopening to get those questions answered. You won't find dates, specifically a date when schools will reopen. We know it will be difficult for many people to return to work if they don't have childcare or their kids are not in school. We are working closely with the County Office of Education and school districts, which are currently surveying parents to understand what benchmarks are needed to consider reopening of our schools. And while details about Cal Poly or our work with the tourism industry are not included in the START guide, it is important for everyone to know that. We're partnering with tourism industry to ensure that appropriate messages are being provided to potential tourists and visitors. We're working with the hotel industry to monitor occupancy. We're working with the state to keep tourist magnet destinations such as Oceano Dunes and Hearst Castle closed. And we are in close coordination with Cal Poly as university leaders work to determine the safest and most appropriate way forward for the fall 2020 quarter and beyond. We welcome your feedback for the START Guide. It's a living document and will be updated over time. If you have feedback or comments, please fill out the feedback form available on readyslo.org. If you have questions, please call the Phone Assistance Center, 805-543-2444, 8 to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekends.